Alright, hello class. Today we are going to be learning about genetics, just like the basics of genetics using Mendel's laws of genetics. Okay. We're going to watch a short YouTube video. It's going to give us a brief overview.
Meet Grammarly Business, a solution to help your entire organization communicate more clearly and
These days, scientists know how you inherit characteristics from your parents. They're able to calculate probabilities of having a specific trait or getting a genetic disease according to the information they have from the parents and family history. But how is this possible? To understand how traits pass from one living being to its descendants, we need to go back in time to the 19th century and a man named Gregor Mendel. Mendel was an Austrian monk and biologist who loved to work with plants. By breeding the pea plants he was growing in the monastery's garden, he discovered the principles that rule heredity. In one of the most classic examples, Mendel combined a purebred yellow-seeded plant with a purebred green-seeded plant, and he got only yellow seeds. He called the yellow color trait the dominant one because it was expressed in all the new seeds. Then he let the new yellow-seeded hybrid plants self-fertilize, and in this second generation he got both yellow and green seeds, which meant that the green trait had been hidden by the dominant yellow. He called this hidden trait the recessive trait. From those results, Mendel inferred that each trait depends on a pair of factors, one of them coming from the mother and the other from the father. Now we know that these factors are called alleles and represent the different variations of a gene. Depending on which type of allele Mendel found in each seed, we can have what we call a homozygous bee, where both alleles are identical, and what we call a heterozygous bee, when the two alleles are different. This combination of alleles is known as genotype, and its result, being yellow or green, is called phenotype. To clearly visualize how alleles are distributed amongst descendants, we can use a diagram called the Punnett square. You just place the different alleles on both axes, and then you figure out the possible combinations. Let's look at Mendel's peas, for example. Let's write the dominant yellow allele as an uppercase Y, and the recessive green allele as a lowercase y. The uppercase Y always overpowers its lowercase friend, so the only time you get green babies is if you have two lowercase y's. In Mendel's first generation, the yellow homozygous pea mom will give each pea kid a yellow dominant allele, and the green homozygous pea dad will give a green recessive allele, so all the pea kids will be yellow heterozygous. Then, in the second generation, where the two heterozygous kids marry, their babies could have any of the three possible genotypes, showing the two possible phenotypes in a 3-to-1 proportion. But even peas have a lot of characteristics. For example, besides being yellow or green, peas may be round or wrinkled. So we could have all these possible combinations: round yellow peas, round green peas, wrinkled yellow peas, and wrinkled green peas. To calculate the proportions for each genotype and phenotype, we can use a Punnett square too. Of course, this will make it a little more complex. And lots of things are more complicated than peas, like, say, people. These days, scientists know a lot more about genetics and heredity, and there are many other ways in which some characteristics are inherited, but it all started with Mendel and his peas.
Alright. We're going to go through some vocab real quick. So we have gene, which is a unit of heredity, which is transferred from a parent's offspring. And then we have chromosome, which this is our chromosome right here, and it's a thread-like structure of nucleic acids and protein in the nucleus of living organisms, and it carries the genetic information in the form of genes. And then we have DNA, which is deoxyribonucleic acid, and that's self-replicating material that is found in living organisms and is the carrier of genetic information. Okay, so each offspring receives an allele from the mother and from the father, and so that's the specific variation of the gene that's passed out. It's called the allele. And so you have a dominant allele and a recessive allele. And the dominant allele is the one that masks the recessive allele, and if it's present, it is shown. But with the recessive allele, you can carry it, but it might not be expressed. So an example of this is, say that tall pea plants are dominant over short pea plants. So the dominant allele would be a uppercase T for tall, and the recessive allele would be a lowercase t for short. And you always use the same letter to represent the dominant and recessive allele, just the uppercase and lowercase letter.
And then we have two different genes, homozygous gene and heterozygous heterozygous gene. And so for homozygous genes, both alleles are the same, so we have two capital T's represent the dominant gene. And then heterozygous, we have two different alleles, and that would be capital T, lowercase. And then for genotype, it's the genetic component of an organism, and then phenotype, the visible appearance based on the genetic makeup. So the genotype is like this, represented by the letters, and then the phenotype is just how you see it: tall, short, green, yellow, brown, or wrinkled.
Okay, so we have a short little vocab quiz for y'all, just to fill out, and we're gonna go over the answers afterwards. But try your best.
It's just going to be counted as a participation grade, so
But it's a good study guide for your future tests, stuff like that, and you can use it during the rest of the lesson. Tell me a few more minutes, or how's it going?
Alright. I'm just going to go over the answers real quick, just so we have everything right and on the same page. So what'd y'all get for number one, homozygous gene? D. Yeah. So D's, both alleles are identical. And then number two, what'd y'all get? So two different alleles are present. And for three, A. Yeah. So allele is present but not expressed and masked by dominant gene. And then
What did you get for number 4? J, okay, yeah, a unit of heredity which is passed down from parent to offspring.
And then number 5, allele. H, okay. Yes, specific variation of a gene.
Number 6, chromosome. What's your vote?
B,
Yeah, it's a thread-like structure of nucleic acids and proteins in the nucleus of living organisms and carry the genetic information.
and then number 7, genotype. F is genetic component of an organism.
Number 8. Yeah, it's the visible appearance based on the genetic makeup.
And then number 9, DNA. It just said E. Yes. It's a self-replicating material found in living organisms and carries genetic information.
And then number 10. Yes, so that it's the allele that is expressed if it's present. Good job, guys.
So if you want to keep these and study them for when we have the final test of this.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to Punnett squares. They showed us a little bit in the video about Punnett squares, but we're going to go into more detail. So you see here it has the father on this top and the mother on the side, but you can always swap those. It doesn't matter which one you put on which side. And so for this one, they have a big B and a little b for the father's alleles, and the mother's alleles, little b and little b. So then you can see where they've crossed it, the big B with the little b, little b, little b, big B, little b, and then little b, little b. Okay. And so we're going to go through some examples.
So our first example, a heterozygous tall pea plant mates with a homozygous short pea plant, and we're wanting to create a Punnett square for their potential offspring.
Okay, so we know that a heterozygous tall pea plant is going to be expressed like this, and then we have a homozygous short pea plant. So we're going to cross those two. And that's the genotype for that. Okay, so we're going to start with the big T, little t up here, and then little t, little t. And so what you do is you bring this t down, and you're going to essentially multiply it by this one. So you're just going to combine these two. And then same with this one. And then we bring the big T down, little t, and then little t, little t. Does that make sense? Okay. So with Punnett squares, they are useful because you can infer more information about your potential offspring. So if you were like having a baby and you wanted to know like what the baby's eye color was going to be, you could do a Punnett square to try to figure out what they could be based on the mother and father's eye color. So we can also use this to find percentages and ratios for your offspring. So for this, the genotype, which is the alleles, for tall, we know that there are two genotypes that represent tall. So that is going to be 50% of our genotype is tall, and 50% is short.
How do we know which is which? How do we know that 50% is tall, 50% is short?
The big T always matters.
Yeah. And so this would be a 1-to-1 ratio. Okay, and then for phenotypes, it just so happens to be the exact same for the genotypes and the phenotypes, but on other ones it will be different. So you have a 50% chance of your offspring being tall and a 50% chance of it being short, and then it's a 1-to-1 ratio as well.
So now we're going to give y'all an opportunity to come to the board and try it out, see what you know. So for number two heterozygous yellow pea plants made to produce offspring, create a Punnett square of their potential offspring, and then where yellow is dominant over green. So who wants to come try it out?
All right, come on, Molly. If you would also like write out what the genotypes are for the parents, and sort of write out what I wrote down here as well when you're done doing your Punnett square. Class, make sure y'all write this down in your notes, so you'll have these examples for when you have homework and stuff like that. So that's okay. All right, so when Molly crossed these two pea plants, okay, she got a homozygous dominant yellow, two heterozygous dominant yellow pea plants, and a recessive homozygous green pea plant. Okay, so when you're doing the percentages,
So for the genotype, like how she had short and tall instead of flat, we'll have yellow and green, right?
we're gonna do it like this.
Oh, we're gonna do it like this instead.
Because these are the genotypes, and then the phenotypes are.
Yeah, so on the phenotypes, we'll have yellow and green. And the genotypes will be the letter.
Kayla's gonna explain what the percentages and ratios are.
So for the genotype for two capital Y's, homozygous dominant, we have 25%. And then the heterozygous dominant, we have 2, so 50%. And then for the recessive, here we have 1, so 25%.
For the ratio, it's gonna be, does anybody know? what do you think the ratio would be? Yeah, go 1 to 1. And then you can do the percentages for phenotypes as well. So, based on how much square, what is the phenotypic percentage of yellow offspring? Reese, do you know what the percentage for the green offspring is? And do you know what the ratio would be for yellow to green?
Anybody have any questions on this? Or move on to the next?
And we're gonna do one more example. Y'all will read this, and I would like one of y'all to come to the board as well, maybe Reese. It says, in horses, the allele for straight hair is dominant, which is capital H, and the allele for curly hair is recessive, which is a lowercase h. A horse breeder makes a homozygous dominant mother with a heterozygous male. You don't have to do that for this one because I just want y'all to answer this question. What is the chance that the offspring will have straight hair based on this Punnett square? Yeah, 100%. So all of them will have the straight hair expressed because it's dominant over curly. Yeah. All right, are y'all good? Y'all need any more examples?
So now, if y'all will go on to explorelearning.com and log in, and then in the 12 p.m. class, open up chicken genetics, and then we're gonna do an example up here to show you how it works, and then we'll let you play around with it, and then there'll be a few questions afterwards to answer.
So, you can put these chickens up here and cross a red and white chicken, and you can breed them to see what their offspring would be. And then you can click on this button up here, which will show the genotype and statistics. So if you click on the chicken, the white genotype, the chicken is FWFW, which just means it has white feathers. And for a red chicken, it's FRFR, which means it has red feathers. And then for a mixed chicken, it has FRFW. Okay? And you can see your percentages over here. And then there's this little holding cage down here, so we are gonna hold the chickens down here and clear this. And then you can mate these together to see what you would get based on that. And when you mate two of the mixed chickens, you get white chickens, red chickens, and red-white chickens. And you can just play around with these for a few minutes. And then there are questions at the bottom that I'd like y'all to answer. And use your gizmo up here to answer those questions. I think this is cool. You can see what kind of chickens you have. close to finishing.
Okay.
Alright, so now we're gonna go over the answers to the questions below.
So does somebody want to read the first question for us?
What is the G-May type of the chicken and shake?
And what did y'all get for that answer? Good job.
Great. So that is a red white chicken or a white red chicken, however you want to look at it.
And number two,
The two chickens shown below are bred together, which is one of the possible set of offspring experience.
what did y'all get for that one? Good job.
Two chickens are bred and have 5 offspring shown below. What are the most likely genotypes of the parents?
What did you get for that one?
It's good. And we know it's A because you have red chickens present, white chickens present, and mixed chickens present. So with all the other ones, like with this one, there's only one red allele, so it would be masked. And here, there's only one white allele, so it would be masked. And on this one, it would have all mixed chickens. So that's why it's A. Number 4.
Two chickens are bred and produce the following numbers of offspring. What are the most likely appearances of the parents?
I chose C.
Good.
Um,
We have no red chickens, and then we have 14 white, and then 16 red white. So since we don't have a red chicken present, one of the parents would have to be a white chicken, and then the other parent would be red white.
And number 5.
What are the most likely percentages of offspring? 2 red, white, and double parents?
What did y'all get?
Right. Yeah, so you have 25 white, 25 red, and 50 white red chickens. And then they have a Punnett square right here showing parents for that. So you can do a Punnett square even with these.
So do we have any other questions before we finish?
So we have access to those answers in here, so we'll look at this, we're gonna take this up as a quiz grade. Keep your vocab sheets and study those, put into the chapter test.
It's the notes you wrote down when we did the Punnett squares on the board, and look over those again.
All right,
If there are no other questions, y'all are dismissed.